Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's report covers stunning developments coming out of Ankara and Tel Aviv. International headlines are erupting after reports that Turkey has declared new support for the United States and Israel, signaling what analysts are calling a dramatic reversal in its regional stance. According to multiple diplomatic sources, Ankara has formally expressed readiness to cooperate with Washington and Jerusalem on security coordination and regional stabilization. This announcement came after a high-level meeting between Turkish and American officials earlier this week. For years, Turkey has balanced its relations between Western allies and Middle Eastern neighbors, often taking a critical position toward Israel's policies in Gaza. But now that narrative appears to be shifting fast. Officials inside Turkey are describing this as a pragmatic move to restore economic strength and rebuild credibility. With NATO partners, Israeli media reacted swiftly. Calling the decision historic, some commentators said, it marks the first major thaw in bilateral relations since diplomatic ties were downgraded following the Gaza flotilla incident. The Israeli Prime Minister's office released a cautious statement, welcoming the possibility of cooperation while emphasizing that concrete steps must follow. Words across the Arab world, reactions have been mixed in Doha and Tehran. Commentators are accusing Ankara of betrayal toward the Palestinian resistance movement, particularly Hamas, which has long relied on Turkish political support for international advocacy. Turkish state television, however, insists that the decision does not mean abandoning humanitarian concern for Gaza, but rather pursuing peace through diplomacy, not conflict. The United States praised Turkey's announcement, calling it a vital moment for renewed trust within the NATO alliance. American officials confirmed that new talks on defense technology and trade cooperation are already being planned. Washington believes Turkey's return to full coordination could help stabilize tensions stretching from the Mediterranean to the Persian Gulf inside Turkey. The reaction has been divided. Supporters of the government are calling this a masterstroke in foreign policy designed to protect national interests amid global uncertainty. Critics, however, accuse leadership of bowing to Western pressure and turning away from long-standing commitments to Palestinian causes. Social media across the region has exploded with debate as hashtags related to the shift trend on both Turkish and Arabic platforms. Analysts point out that this move may also be motivated by economic realities. Turkey has been struggling with inflation, currency pressure, and declining foreign investment. Aligning with Washington and Jerusalem could open doors to new financial opportunities and defense industry contracts. Experts believe Ankara is positioning itself to regain leverage in Western capitals after years of friction. Meanwhile, officials in Hamas headquarters have expressed deep disappointment. Sources close to the movement described feelings of shock and disbelief, claiming that Turkey's change of position could weaken diplomatic channels that once offered them indirect communication with the West. They say this move leaves them more isolated as regional alliances continue to shift. In Israel, defense analysts are cautiously optimistic. They see this as a potential game changer for security coordination across the eastern Mediterranean, particularly concerning intelligence sharing and counterterrorism cooperation. Military officials stress that any collaboration will depend on mutual transparency and measurable progress. At the same time, Turkish diplomats are working to reassure regional partners that the new stance does not signal hostility toward Muslim nations. Rather, it represents a pragmatic adjustment to modern geopolitics, emphasizing balanced trade and global security. Instead of ideological confrontation, observers note that Ankara's message appears designed to preserve regional respect while rebuilding trust with the United States. European governments have also welcomed the news, quietly seeing it as an encouraging sign for unity within NATO. Especially given ongoing challenges in Eastern Europe, policy experts in Brussels say that Ankara's cooperation could strengthen collective defense mechanisms and improve coordination on migration and energy issues. Back in Washington, State Department officials are viewing Turkey's declaration as a breakthrough that could reshape power dynamics in the Middle East. They highlight that such collaboration might support peace efforts and prevent escalation between Israel and its neighbors by creating broader channels of dialogue. Despite optimism, uncertainty remains. Will this partnership truly last, or will internal political pressure in Turkey force another turn? Diplomatic analysts remind observers that Turkish foreign policy has historically been flexible shifting. According to national interest and regional sentiment, they say only sustained economic and security benefits will determine how long this realignment endures. In the streets of Istanbul, public opinion appears split. Some citizens say the country should prioritize economic recovery and international partnerships. Others believe solidarity with Palestinians must remain a central principle. Demonstrations both for and against the decision have been reported but remain peaceful. So far, across the broader Middle East, governments are watching closely. Iran has denounced the move as dangerous and opportunistic, warning that Turkey risks losing credibility among nations sympathetic to the Palestinian cause. Meanwhile, Egypt and Jordan appear cautiously supportive, interpreting it as a possible step toward a more stable regional order. Political observers say this marks one of the most significant diplomatic realignments since Turkey normalized relations with Egypt earlier this year. Together, these moves suggest a larger pattern of reconciliation and pragmatism among regional powers as they navigate shifting alliances and global economic pressures. By late evening, markets responded with a modest boost to the Turkish lira, signaling investor confidence in the possibility of renewed Western partnerships. Economists predict that deeper trade cooperation could follow, especially in the defense technology and energy sectors, if political stability continues. The world now watches Ankara, Washington, and Jerusalem as they test the boundaries of this unexpected alliance. Each capital faces pressure from domestic and international audiences to make sure the cooperation produces results rather than headlines. The coming weeks will show whether this new phase of diplomacy can survive the weight of regional history. As the story develops, more updates are expected from all three governments and international institutions. The situation remains fluid, but one thing is certain: Turkey's announcement has rewritten the political map of the Middle East overnight, and its consequences will be felt for years to come.